cup of coffee, day 4, right? Day 4, I think.
I think, yeah.
I think it's
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Day 4.
Day 4.
And we're in the Climate Generations area today. So cheers.
Cheers.
Our UN cups of coffee.
Yeah.
So we'll just quickly. I'm Kaya.
I'm Naomi.
And
Jerome.
Jerome. So Jerome, you are a marine biologist,
Yes.
and today was Oceans Day. So is that right?
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated because I was also confused because today was the Ocean Forum Day or Ocean Forum, something like that, and tomorrow is the Ocean Day, and then there is other ocean days which are not called Ocean Days but where they will also do ocean stuff. It's getting through the program, what is happening here and when and who is talking where then is a lot of work.
That's why I saw a thread last night. Tomorrow is Oceans Day. Tomorrow's not Oceans Day. I was like, I don't
Exactly.
even know. But so there's a lot of ocean days, basically.
Yeah, it goes. It starts. Really started Tuesday, where the first more science conference. They were open for the public, but actually, I think most in the room were just scientists. And then it led. But that was not here. That was in central Paris. And then today was the big thing here, in the Climate Generation area, where there were a lot of talks, very high profile. I mean, Ségolène Royal was speaking, a lot of other government representatives, especially from the oceanic countries. Very interesting and very high level scientists that are responsible for big programs, and that was very interesting. And then tomorrow it goes. If I understand it right, tomorrow at the Ocean Days it will more go into also workshops where recommendations shall be collected and drafted. So that will then over the weekend be given to the negotiators to incorporate the ocean topic into everything. Actually, in the whole UNFCCC process.
And so that's kind of new to have oceans be actually in the
Yes.
negotiations.
Yeah, this is the first time that oceans and all the topics pertaining to it are really discussed inside the negotiations. We had this last year, so we had already Oceans Days at the COPs, but they were always they were not part of really what was discussed. Today is a big moment for that because oceans are central in everything when it comes to climate.
And so why? Tell us why.
Why?
Begs
Yes.
for a question.
Well, first of all, the oceans are an integral part of the climate system. People always think of climate. Okay, what happens? Storms that come on land and destroy settlements, and then it gets warmer, and crops don't grow, and that everything happens on the land. That is just our anthropocentric view of ourselves. We always think, okay, where we are, that's what counts. But actually, the ocean covers 70% of the Earth. If you see NASA pictures from the whole Earth, you see it's mostly blue. That's mostly ocean, and it's a huge interface, atmosphere, ocean, then, where a lot of CO2 goes into the ocean. Actually, I think, what was it? 50% of, more or less, maybe it's a little different, but a huge amount of CO2 that is emitted every year goes into the ocean. The oceans also produce more than half of the oxygen we're breathing. So everybody talks about the rainforest, but the oceans produce the phytoplankton, especially inside, produce a lot of the oxygen and captures a lot of the CO2. Then also what it captures even more is what a lot of people are not aware of, that the extra heat that is generated because of our emissions is actually going to the oceans. If there weren't no oceans to suck up the heat, then we would be grilling already, because 90% of the heat that is generated through global warming goes into the oceans.
Wow. So is that something that will keep happening, or
That is a big question. That is a big question because right now the debate is going, where does it go really? What happens to the heat? We still don't know, but there are signs that it goes a lot into the deep sea. The deep sea is generally always just 4 degrees. Has been for centuries, for all, like since we can remember, like since we humans are really on Earth, it has been that smaller state at 4 degrees. Because 4 degrees is that water is the maximum density at 4 degrees. That's why it's 4 degrees down there.
Oh.
And then ecosystem adapted. Imagine you're an animal that always just knows 4 degrees temperature.
right.
What happens when suddenly it gets 2 degrees warmer? I mean, we don't know what happens there, and we don't know. Maybe at some point it will be full. Probably not that fast, but what is more likely, I guess, I don't really know. I'm not a scientist that does anything like this, but I guess we know that that at some point also currents will probably change. So the currents that bring it down there, what is with their change?
Yeah.
There is discussions and fears of by scientists that maybe the Gulf Stream will change or even grow weaker. There's signs for that something is changing there already. So
Wow.
we don't know.
So just to kind of break it down for me, who doesn't know anything about oceans, climate change is affecting our emissions is affecting the climate, so that currents in oceans, acidification. I've heard that. Like, can you
Yes.
kind of break down like what the issues are in oceans?
Yes. So our excess CO2 that we're emitting does actually 2 things to the oceans. One is that it heats them up, like we know already. The other thing, and that is by itself already scary, it's that it makes them more acidic. We have seen since start of the Industrial Revolution that it has dropped between 0.1 to 0.2 pH, which seems like nothing. But people are not really aware that the pH is not is a logarithmic scale, like a Richter scale. If you have people will maybe know that if you have a 5 degrees on the Richter scale earthquake, it's much less bad than if you have a 6 degrees on the Richter scale.
Right. Okay.
Same is true for the pH. So, and then the debate is also going, what will happen to the organisms living suddenly in more acidic water? There are already first signs to ecosystems that fisheries, for example, can diminish through that. It was very interesting. I saw a lot of talks on the ocean acidification here. There's still a lot of debates between some scientists say it will be more bad, some scientists it will be maybe even some fish stocks will have no problems or even be winners a little bit.
Okay.
We have to move.
No, you said we had until 1:45.
Okay, we've got a few minutes
We're
left.
okay.
Okay. So I'll try to break it down faster. So
Unopposed.
this is the thing. This is very dangerous, and for a lot of organisms, we don't know really what it will do. What we definitely know is that a lot of the corals are suffering through this, and corals are suffering already. Are very sensitive to more heat in the ocean. Over a couple of days or weeks, over 28 degrees water temperatures, most corals will lose their zooxanthellae. These are the symbiotic algae that live inside them, because actually they're animals and plants, algae and animals.
I'm learning so much.
They lose them. Suddenly they turn white completely, and then the temperature does not get lower very fast, then whole reefs can die. This happens especially during the El Nino years, when in the Pacific especially, but also elsewhere when the surface waters get very much warmer. We have now an El Nino year, and we are on a high level alarm on threats to mass bleaching events, and we see already the first reefs doing that. So this is very dangerous. This then comes to ocean acidification. And then this is why also another significant event or thing that happened before the COP, just before, is that all of the major reef scientists signed a paper, a call to action to limit the warming to less than 2 degrees, better 1.5 degrees, because they say that they don't say it explicitly written inside the text that all of the coral reefs will die out, but they say, I think they talk of extreme damage. So very, very strong words. And I also asked, I was in a discussion on it where this was presented, and asked somebody that is part of this association, somebody that inside this association lobbied for that paper, what she thinks the majority really think. Will we still have coral reefs, or will they And she said, actually, the mood is really that it goes, if we don't do something, then coral reefs, maybe some coral reef species will survive, maybe some coral reefs also, because there are some specialist coral reefs that grow in high acidic or warm areas, but the great majority of the reefs are really, they think they will really die out. And a lot of them are, it's the older reef scientists that know, when they started in the 70s or in the 60s when diving there, they say already now the reefs that we have now in comparison there are nothing else. It's just like if you if like the trees in the Amazon, the primal forest has been cut down, a new forest grows, but then the scientists will also say, well, this is nothing like the original.
Right. I think that's really important, and it kind of really cements the urgency and how much is at stake here.
Can I say one more sentence? Is that, well, the thing is, oceans are in great danger, and but it's good that we talk about the threats they face and why they're so important to us. But the good thing is that a lot of the solutions lie in the ocean. For example, the ecosystem, one of the ecosystem, maybe the ecosystem, really first place that captures the most storage are mangroves. Mangroves capture even much more carbon than rainforests, and not many people know that.
Wow.
Per square area.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's
It's
great.
staggering
That's
amount.
So I like
Staggering
ending
amount.
on solutions. So
And then also
Cheers.
a lot of other things that can be
we're
done
going to
there.
talk more about this on the way home.
Yes.
Cheers to solutions.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Citizens' Voice.
Citizens' Voice.
Citizens' Voice.
Citizens' Voice.